Hi, welcome back to the Distressed Princess. I'm Rhonda, and here are the farmhouse fall DIYs I'm working on today. I'm going to make a miniature blanket ladder, but it won't be for blankets. It will be for decorative tea towels to display in your kitchen. And I made mine so that it could go under my kitchen cabinets. And I'm using these tomato stakes that came from the Dollar General store and these paint stir sticks that came from Home Depot. I've used these tomato stakes in previous DIYs, and so they were already cut down. So the two pieces that I had remaining, I had to just work with the size that the shortest one was, which I would have preferred mine to have been just a little tad longer, but like I said, I'm working with the shortest one. So I cut them both off to the same size. As for the paint stir sticks, I laid them out with the tomato stakes and I just kind of eyeballed everything, just how I wanted everything to lay, how far apart I wanted the legs to be, and how close together I wanted the rungs. So the first decision was how long I wanted the rungs to be, or how wide I wanted the whole thing to be. So I marked that off and measured and cut both of my paint stir sticks the same length. Then I sanded down all the wood pieces so that I wouldn't have a lot of splintery edges. Then I had to decide how close together I wanted the rungs to be. And that piece of wood that's at the bottom, that's another paint stir stick that I was just using to keep everything kind of even and together. So once I had my rungs placed where I wanted them to permanently be, then I put marks where they're going to go, so that I know when I put my wood glue, which is super glue wood glue that I got from Dollar Tree, I will know where to put it right back. See, so when I pick this up, I know when I put them back down, they're going right where I wanted them to. And these paint stir sticks also have a ruler on one side, which I had to think about. Did I want the ruler to show on the front of my ladder or not? Which normally I don't. Normally in projects, I put the ruler side to the back where it can't be seen. But for some reason, I thought that that was charming for this little tea towel ladder. So I am leaving the ruler toward the front of the ladder. So what you're looking at is the back of the ladder. And now I'm cleaning up that wood glue that seeped out around the edges. And I have to say, I think that this super glue wood glue really is better than ordinary cheap wood glue, I should say. I know that Gorilla makes some wood glue that's probably awesome, but just for $1, I say give this a shot. It's really good. But because I'm impatient, I didn't want to wait for the glue to dry all the way. So I'm using my heavy-duty staple gun to also staple them in place. And that's it for construction. Just wipe up any excess wood glue and you're ready to stain. I'm using Waverly Antique Wax and a baby wipe to stain the whole thing front and back. When it was dry, I went over it with some fine grit sandpaper to do a little distressing around the edges and to tone down the darkness of the stain. And she turned out so cute, I couldn't wait to put some towels on her. So now let's make some fall tea towels to put on our tea towel ladder. I'm using a flour sack towel and these two printouts that I will link in my description box below, the website where I got them. I printed out these images using my Sublimation printer and Sublimation paper. And if you're interested in learning how to do this, I will put a card above and a link in my description box to show you all about how to turn a printer into a Sublimation printer and start doing this for yourself. And I have to say that, you can definitely use Cricut vinyl to make this same sort of thing. And vinyl is awesome for making signs, but I really enjoy Sublimation better on fabric than using vinyl. So what I'm doing now is I'm measuring out my flour sack towel because it was so large. I can get 2 tea towels out of this one flour sack towel, especially considering that our little ladder is so small. So basically I measured it across and I'm cutting it in half. There's a few different ways that you can make your hem on the raw edges of your towel that you just cut. You could use fabric glue, you could sew it, of course, but I'm using some heat bond tape. And it's also called witch stitchery or stitch witchery, one way or the other. It's like this infusible web stuff that you can iron, and it sticks your 2 pieces of fabric together, making a hem. Now you want to fold over the raw edge of your material, and you are aiming to make this hem at least the width of the tape because you don't want the tape sticking out around the edges. So I'm just laying the tape down to see how far I need to fold over to cover it. And then once I fold it down, I'm going to iron it down in place so that it will kind of stay. Then you want to measure out the piece of tape that you'll need. So I just strung it along end to end, and I cut off the length that I would need. Then just open up the flap that you created and put the piece of heat bond tape inside and fold it back over, and then all you have to do is iron it down. Now I've had this heat bond tape for quite a long time, and I've long since lost the instructions that I'm sure tells you what heat setting to have your iron on. I really can't remember what it said it was supposed to be, but I will tell you that my iron was on its hottest heat setting and it worked perfectly. I didn't have to re-iron it. I didn't have to go over it over and over, and I definitely didn't have to iron for too long. It was stuck and it worked great. I would definitely recommend getting the smaller size if you can, because this hem wound up being larger than the left side hem, but once this towel is folded, you won't notice that anyway, I promise. The next step is to cut down your images. Now remember, reverse your images. That means mirror your image before you print so that your words are going to read correctly when you put it down. Before you iron your image on, it's important to lint roll your fabric to make sure that there's no dust particles or any pieces of lint or anything, or in my case, hairs falling off my head. I've got my Cricut Easy Press heating up to 385, and I'm going to hold it down for 35 seconds. And here's a trick on how to find the center of your material. Just fold it in half, and then use your Easy Press to press it down for a few seconds and make a crease in the middle. And then when you open it back up, you'll be able to see the center by the crease that you just made. Then get 2 pieces of parchment paper ready. One will go underneath your material and one will go on top of your image. You will also need a couple pieces of heat-resistant tape, and I used the Cricut brand. Using the crease you made as a guide, Center your image onto the fabric and use a couple pieces of the heat-resistant tape to hold it in place. Then cover your image with the other piece of parchment paper and then set your easy press down on top, hit the go button, and let it count down for 35 seconds. Then carefully move the easy press back to its pad and then carefully peel up a corner and take a little peek and see if it's the vibrancy that you were expecting. And it was, so I went ahead and removed the whole piece. And there it is, a sublimation on fabric. And this washes and wears so much better than vinyl does. And it's so easy. It's as easy as printing out a picture on your printer and then ironing it onto a towel. It's awesome. Also, you of course can see around the edges where the easy press was, you can iron that out. I went ahead and made a second image for my other tea towel, and I'm in love with how they turned out. The next couple of DIYs are so easy, you've just got to try them. That is, if you can get your hands on one of these bamboo cutting boards from the Dollar Tree and 4 of the little cube wooden pieces that's in the crafter's square. And here is how easy it is. Just take those 4 little wooden cubes and use that super glue, wood glue, to glue them to the bottom of the bamboo cutting board, and voila, you have a riser. And I didn't even measure out where I put these little feet. I just eyeballed it. That's just the easiest thing for me to do, and it worked out just fine. If you feel the need, you could measure and put them perfectly in place and all, but I didn't really see the need in it, so just glue them right down, clean up whatever seeps out around the edges, and be done. After the wood glue dried, then I wanted to draw a design on one of the corners of my riser just to make it unique and mine. And I'm using a white paint pen that I got from Michael's. I practiced a little design on a black paper plate that I had, you can see right here. And this is so simple. I'm not a drawer, I'm not an artist or anything like that. So if I can draw this, I know y'all can too. All it is 2 curved lines and a bunch of little ovals. So that was pretty easy as pie. Of course, you could cut out a vinyl sticker, or you could use a sticker from the Dollar Tree. You could stamp something on. There's just so many options in being creative, but this was quick and simple for sure. And this one is so simple, don't blink or you'll miss it. All it is this tumbler that I got from the Dollar General store back in the summer. And these kinds of cups like this are pretty easily found. You can usually find them in Hobby Lobby. If you cannot find a hobnail cup like this, it's really easy to make one too. out of a plain mason jar and those little stick-on pearls that you get at the Dollar Tree. But of course, this is the easiest version if you can find a cup that already has these hobnail things on them. And since I don't have a Lazy Susan to turn my object around while I'm painting, I put it on a paint stir stick, and then I just use the paint stir stick to turn it around as I'm painting. Then once all of the spray paint was dry, of course, where the top was sitting down onto the surface of my work table, that did not get painted. So I'm going to touch that up around the rim with some white acrylic paint. Then tie a bow with some Dollar Tree ribbon and fill them up with some Dollar Tree fall florals, and it is the cutest thing to put on top of your riser or to set with your fall decorations. Now let's take a look back at all the farmhouse fall DIYs today. Thanks for stopping by and watching my video today. I hope you all enjoyed it. And if you're wishing for fall, I hope it's just around the corner for you. I sure am wishing for it. If you're wanting to see some more DIY inspirations, click the link that I provided here, and I'll see you next time. Bye!